Every mirror in his apartment reflected a different reality. The chipped porcelain mug warmed my hands, the Earl Grey a familiar comfort against the unsettling chill that had seeped into my bones since I first heard about Arthur Blackwood's apartment. It wasn't just the macabre discovery that sent shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned New York Police Department officers, it was the utter strangeness of the scene, the kind that whispered of realities beyond our grasp. You see, Arthur Blackwood, a reclusive clockmaker in his late 50s, wasn't just found lifeless amidst his intricate mechanisms. Every single mirror in his meticulously cluttered apartment reflected a different reality. Imagine stepping into a space where the hallway mirror showed a bustling marketplace teeming with faces you'd never seen, the living room mirror depicted a serene, snow-covered forest, and the bathroom mirror reflected a raging ocean under a stormy sky. Each reflection was vivid, almost tangible, yet utterly disconnected from the room they occupied and, more disturbingly, from each other. It was as if Arthur had somehow fractured the very fabric of his dwelling, turning it into a bizarre nexus of disparate worlds. The initial reports were confused, almost frantic. Officers, their voices tight with disbelief, described the impossible reflections, questioning their own sanity. Was it some elaborate prank? A series of cleverly placed screens? But a thorough examination revealed nothing but ordinary, albeit antique, mirrors. There were no hidden mechanisms, no projectors, no digital displays. Just glass and silver backing, reflecting realities that shouldn't exist. I, Detective Michael Davies, have seen my fair share of the unusual in my 20 years with the force. New York City, a metropolis teeming with life and its attendant shadows, often throws up cases that defy easy explanation. But this was different. This felt like a crack in the universe, a glimpse behind the curtain of what we perceive as real. Arthur Blackwood himself was an enigma. His neighbors in the old Brooklyn building described him as quiet, almost invisible. He kept to himself, his days seemingly consumed by the delicate work of his clocks. They spoke of the constant, soft ticking emanating from his apartment, a rhythmic pulse that had become a familiar part of the building's soundscape. No one had ever seen any visitors. No one knew anything about his past. He was a ghost in his own life, and now, in death, he had left behind a puzzle that threatened to unravel the very notion of reality. The apartment itself was a time capsule. Dust motes danced in the faint sunlight filtering through the grimy windows, illuminating shelves crammed with antique clocks of every shape and size. Grandfather clocks stood sentinel in corners, their pendulums frozen mid-swing. Mantel clocks adorned every available surface, their ornate faces staring blankly ahead. Pocket watches lay scattered on worktables, their tiny hands stilled. It was a symphony of silence, a testament to a life dedicated to the measurement of time, now abruptly halted. And then there were the mirrors. A large, ornate one dominated the living room wall, its gilded frame intricately carved. It was this mirror that showed the snow-laden forest, the branches of unseen trees heavy with white, the air thick with the hush of winter. You could almost feel the biting cold emanating from its depths. In the hallway, a long, slender mirror reflected the vibrant marketplace. The air seemed thick with the smells of spices and unfamiliar foods, the sounds of bartering voices echoing in the otherwise silent apartment. Faces, young and old, their features foreign and yet somehow familiar, moved through the bustling scene, their lives unfolding in a reality completely separate from Arthur's dusty abode. The bathroom mirror, a simple, unframed piece, presented the turbulent ocean. Waves crashed against unseen shores, the roar of the water a phantom sound in the stillness. The sky above was a bruised purple, heavy with the promise of a storm. Each room held its own mirrored reality, each reflection a window into a world unknown. The bedroom mirror showed a vast, starlit desert, the silence broken only by the whisper of the wind across the dunes. The kitchen mirror reflected a futuristic cityscape, sleek towers reaching towards a sky filled with flying vehicles. Even a small, handheld mirror found near Arthur's bedside offered a glimpse into what appeared to be a Victorian-era drawing room, complete with richly dressed figures engaged in hushed conversation. It was bewildering, it was impossible, and yet, it was undeniably there. Have you ever experienced something that completely defied your understanding of reality? What was it, and how did it make you feel? The forensic team, usually unflappable in the face of grim discoveries, moved through the apartment with a palpable unease. They meticulously documented the scene, taking photographs and samples, their movements slow and deliberate, as if afraid to break the spell that hung heavy in the air. Dr. Emily Carter, the forensic psychologist, spent hours observing the reflections, her brow furrowed in thought. "There's no logical explanation, Detective," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "No known technology could produce effects like this. It's beyond anything I've ever encountered. We considered every possibility, no matter how far-fetched. Could it be some form of mass hallucination? Unlikely, given the consistent descriptions from multiple officers. Could it be an elaborate hoax? The sheer scale and complexity made that improbable. And even if it were a hoax, how was it achieved?" Arthur's body offered no immediate answers. He appeared to have died peacefully in his sleep, a faint smile playing on his lips. There were no signs of struggle, no visible injuries, no indication of foul play. The autopsy revealed nothing conclusive, just the esbababika wear and tear of a man his age. His life, as pieced together from the sparse details gleaned from neighbors and a few old acquaintances, was unremarkable. He had inherited the apartment from his parents and had lived there for decades, his days devoted to his clocks. He was a solitary figure, his world seemingly confined to the four walls of his apartment and the intricate mechanisms he so meticulously maintained. But now, those four walls had become a gateway to countless other worlds. As days turned into nights, the mystery deepened. We brought in experts from various fields, physicists, illusionists, even parapsychologists. Each offered their theories, ranging from undiscovered optical phenomena to interdimensional portals. But none could provide a satisfactory explanation for the impossible reflections. The media, of course, had a field day. Sensational headlines screamed of mirror worlds and the clockmaker who opened portals. The apartment building became a morbid tourist attraction, with crowds gathering outside, their faces a mixture of fear and fascination. We had to cordon off the area to maintain order. Inside, we continued our investigation, meticulously searching for any clue that might shed light on Arthur's strange legacy. We examined his clocks, his tools, his personal belongings. We found notebooks filled with intricate diagrams of clock mechanisms, but nothing that hinted at anything beyond his craft. There were no secret passages, no hidden rooms, no strange devices. Except for the mirrors. They remained the central, baffling anomaly. We tried covering them, but the reflected realities persisted, as if the images were somehow imprinted on the very air around them. We tried removing them, but they seemed stubbornly fixed to the walls, resisting all attempts to dislodge them. It was as if they were an intrinsic part of the apartment itself. Dr. Carter spent hours studying Arthur's personal effects, searching for any psychological clue to his possible state of mind. Was he delusional? Did he believe he was creating these other worlds? His notebooks revealed a meticulous and logical mind, focused entirely on the intricacies of timekeeping. There was no hint of fantasy or delusion. One evening, as I sat alone in Arthur's living room, the snow-covered forest in the mirror casting an eerie glow, a thought struck me. Arthur was a clockmaker, a master of time. Could the mirrors somehow be connected to his obsession? Could they be reflecting not different places, but different times? The marketplace in the hallway could be a reflection of New York City in a bygone era. The Victorian drawing room in the handheld mirror, a glimpse into a past century. The futuristic cityscape, a potential future. The desert, perhaps a primal past, and the stormy ocean, a timeless force of nature. But what about the snow-covered forest? What time could that represent? And how could Arthur have possibly created such a phenomenon? If you could glimpse into any time period through a mirror, past or future, which would you choose and why? What do you hope to see? This theory, while intriguing, still lacked any concrete basis. There was no evidence to suggest that Arthur had discovered some way to manipulate the fabric of time. And even if he had, how could he have confined these temporal reflections to individual mirrors within his apartment? Days blurred into weeks, and the mystery of Arthur Blackwood's apartment remained stubbornly unsolved. The police force was under pressure to provide answers, the media clamored for explanations, and the public remained captivated by the bizarre tale. We delved deeper into Arthur's past, searching for any connection to the occult, to secret societies, to forgotten sciences. We interviewed distant relatives, old-school friends, anyone who might have known him beyond the quiet recluse his neighbors described. But everyone painted the same picture, a solitary man dedicated to his craft, with no known eccentricities or unusual interests. And yet, the mirrors remained, silent witnesses to realities unknown. One afternoon, while examining a particularly intricate grandfather clock in the hallway, I noticed a small, almost imperceptible inscription on its brass pendulum. It was a series of symbols, unlike any language I recognized. I carefully photographed it and sent it to linguistic experts. Weeks later, a response came back. The symbols were ancient, possibly dating back centuries, and belonged to a little-known esoteric tradition that spoke of the interconnectedness of time and the existence of windows that could offer glimpses into other moments. The text hinted at rituals and practices that could, under certain conditions, manipulate these temporal windows. Could Arthur, in his lifelong obsession with time, have stumbled upon this ancient knowledge? Could his work with clocks, his meticulous understanding of their mechanisms, have somehow unlocked this forgotten science? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. It suggested that the reality we perceive might be far more fluid and malleable than we ever imagined. We returned to Arthur's apartment with renewed focus, examining his clocks with a new perspective. We looked for hidden compartments, for any modifications that might align with the descriptions in the ancient texts. In the study, behind a false panel in his workbench, we found a hidden compartment. Inside, nestled amongst velvet lining, was a small, leather-bound book. Its pages were filled with the same ancient symbols found on the clock pendulum, interspersed with Arthur's familiar handwriting and intricate diagrams that seemed to blend the mechanics of clockwork with the esoteric symbols. The case of the clockmaker and his reflecting realities remained open, a question mark hanging in the air, a testament to the enduring mysteries that lie just beyond the edges of our perception. If you were tasked with trying to understand the science behind Arthur Blackwood's mirrors, where would you even begin your research? What fields of study might hold potential clues? Perhaps, one day, we will find an answer. Perhaps future generations, with their advanced understanding of the universe, will unlock the secrets that Arthur Blackwood stumbled upon. Or perhaps, the mirrors will forever remain an enigma, a silent reflection of the infinite possibilities that lie just out of reach. But for now, they serve as a potent reminder of the strangeness that can reside in the most ordinary of places, and the extraordinary discoveries that can be made by those who dare to look beyond the surface of reality. So, if you enjoyed this journey into the bizarre and the unexplained, please consider liking this story, sharing it with others who appreciate a good mystery, and subscribing for more tales that delve into the strange corners of our world. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Thank you.